The Metroid Prime series has always been a unique branch of the franchise, taking the core ideas of Metroid and translating them into a fully immersive first-person experience. Instead of the side-scrolling exploration of the mainline series, Prime places players behind Samus's visor and focuses on scanning, environmental storytelling, and first-person combat that feels more involved than the main 2D games. It keeps the familiar loop of upgrades and backtracking, but presents it through detailed 3D worlds that feels way more immersive. The series was so critically acclaimed that Nintendo continued expanding it, building on its ideas with sequels and remasters. Metroid Prime 4 has been one of Nintendo's most anticipated titles for years, in part because of its long and unusual development journey. First announced at E3 2017, the project was initially handled by Bandai Namco Studios before being restarted in 2019, as Nintendo was reportedly unhappy with progress and handed back to Retro Studios, the original developers of the trilogy. After years of silence, the game reemerged in 2024 with its full title and a confirmed cross-generation release for both Switch and Switch 2. Now, after nearly 18 long years since Metroid Prime 3, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is finally here, ready to keep the ball rolling once again. The plot kicks off with Samus answering a call from a Galactic Federation outpost that's suddenly under attack. Tucked away inside the base is some strange artifact that neither the Federation nor the space pirates fully understand, but everyone seems to agree that it's dangerous. And right in the chaos, Sylux, one of Metroid Prime's major antagonists, shows up and goes straight for it. Things escalate fast as the alien artifact goes haywire and explodes. Samus, along with a handful of Federation survivors, gets flung across the galaxy onto a mysterious planet named Vuros. As expected, Samus's equipment gets stripped in the process because of course it does. But Vuros has something different in store, the remnants of the extinct Lamorne civilization. Through scattered lore, murals, technology, and strange energy sources, Samus learns that the Lamorne have chosen her as the one to carry their legacy forward. They give her powerful psychic abilities and a prophecy she didn't ask for. The core objective, though, stays practical. Find a way off this planet and bring the stranded Federation crew home. Everything else, the artifact, the prophecy, Sylux's motives, simmers in the background, slowly revealing itself the deeper you explore. Most of the storytelling is environmental, just like the older Prime titles. You scan old machines, examine alien ruins, and read logs the world left behind. Samus herself stays silent, but she's brought to life through subtle breathwork, reactions, and physical cues that say more than dialogue ever could. You can even catch glimpses of her through the visor, whether you're opening the menu or firing too close and making her flinch. It's subtle, but it adds a really nice layer of immersion. The only part of the narrative that might divide people is the Federation crew. They're cliche, their lines can get cheesy, and sometimes they just talk too much. Thankfully, they rarely follow Samus around, so the game still leans heavily on that silence that the older games are known for. When they do join her, the companion chatter can get annoying fast, especially when they hand out hints you didn't ask for. But outside those moments, Beyond absolutely nails the atmosphere that defines the series. Once you're left to wander Vuros, Metroid Prime 4 slips right into the classic Metroid rhythm. Explore new zones, gather upgrades, beat a boss, and backtrack to unlock areas you couldn't reach before. It's still the same Prime formula, but updated enough to feel fresh. The newest gameplay mechanics are centered around Samus's new psychic abilities. One of these is the Control Beam, which lets you fire a slow-moving psychic shot and manually steer it through puzzles or toward multiple weak points. It sounds simple on paper, but in practice, it opens up entirely new ways to interact with the environment. Other upgrades build on these psychic powers in similar ways, turning familiar tools into fresh mechanics that make older abilities feel new again. These powers also play a huge part in the boss fights, which are genuinely some of the strongest in the series. One of the early Sylux encounters is an example of this, juggling the control beam, switching into morph ball mode, dodging shockwaves, and lining up shots all in one fluid sequence. It sticks with you since he shows up unexpectedly, and the battle cleverly uses the upgrades you've collected so far. Controls are smoother than ever, stick aiming feels solid, but motion controls absolutely steal the show, like a streamlined version of the Wii Trilogy controls, but sharper and more responsive thanks to the Switch 2's gyros. The game also includes a new mouse mode on the Switch 2, though I personally prefer motion controls as the Joy-Con's ergonomics can make holding the mouse a bit awkward to use. For those who like to fine-tune their setup, button remapping is available as well, which is always a welcome feature. Where the gameplay stumbles is in Sol Valley, the massive desert hub world. Riding the Viola motorcycle across miles of sand sounds cool at first, but in reality, the place just feels empty. It's mostly a big stretch of sand connecting other regions, without much to interact with along the way. The open world design here feels less about exploration and more like it exists just to give players a reason to use the motorcycle. Compared to Metroid Prime's tight, interconnected world design, this hub comes across as a strange detour into modern open world padding. Once you're back inside the main areas, everything falls into place, giving you that Metroid gameplay you were looking for. The Ice Belt area, for example, is one of my favorites. It has this eerie, abandoned experimental facility vibe, where you'll come across frozen enemies sealed inside healing vats and cryopods as you explore, always leaving you on edge wondering if something is going to break out. When Beyond sticks to the traditional Metroid Prime design, it works perfectly. The same can't really be said for the open world section. Don't get me wrong, the motorbike is fun to use, but it's not enough to justify riding it across the game's barren desert. Thankfully, the core areas are so well crafted that they more than make up for it. Visually, Beyond looks way better than anyone expected from a Switch-era title. On Switch 2, the game reaches 4K at 60 FPS with no noticeable hiccups, and even the regular Switch holds its own with a smooth 1080p 60 FPS performance. Retro Studios clearly pushed the hardware as far as it could go, and it paid off. The environments range from lush alien jungles to eerie metal facilities, each full of detail and texture. Samus' suit redesign looks incredible. That shiny chrome red mixed with purple accents really looks put together. And the lighting work in particular brings every biome to life. The game's impressive visuals make the world feel immersive, which in turn creates an amazing atmosphere that draws you into every corner of Euros. Some textures up close can look a little muddy, but unless you're hunting for that, they're not deal breakers. The only visual disappointment once again is Sol Valley. It's big, but also kind of lifeless. The sandstorms, ruins, and skyboxes look fine, but that's pretty much it. Audio-wise, the game feels like coming home for longtime fans. The soundtrack mixes electronic tones with haunting choral pieces, creating that mix of isolation and curiosity that defines Metroid Prime's mood. I mean, just listen to this. Though not every track is noteworthy, the overall tone they were going for just works. Aside from the music, environmental effects, enemy roars, machinery hums, and weapon fire are particularly well made, and sometimes so loud they overpower the music, but never to a distracting degree. Beyond is a great showcase of the Switch 2's capabilities, running smoothly in 4K 60 FPS or 1080p 120 FPS. It's impressive how most of the first-party titles for the Switch 2 have been looking pretty good, and running surprisingly well, which kinda makes me excited for upcoming games in 2026. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond clocks in at around 15 to 20 hours for a regular playthrough, which might feel a little short for a $70 title, but the atmosphere and replay incentives help balance that out. A full run unlocks hard mode, and completionists who love scanning everything will easily double their hours. It's not a flawless game. Sol Valley and the Federation crew can be a bit annoying, but when Beyond goes back and leans into what makes Metroid Prime special to begin with, like exploration, puzzles, and combat, it absolutely delivers. For that, we're giving it an 88 out of 100. After 18 long years of anticipation, it may not overshadow its legendary predecessors, but it stands tall on its own. But what about you? Are you going to try out Metroid Prime 4? If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more news and reviews. This has been Game8, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.